Hello, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked...
Hello and welcome to the Baller BBL SuperCoach podcast. I'm your host and coach of the Terrace crew, Matt Ricks. We are here for episode 4 of the Big Bash preseason, and I am once again delightfully happy to be joined by Coach of Myth on the... It's the Myth. Myth, episode 4, mate. You're doing pretty well.
That's a lot of myth. I'm not
It's a lot of
sure.
myth.
There's a limit to how much myth you can have, and that we might have found it there, to be honest.
Yeah. No, mate, it's been good so far pre-season. We got stuck into the Hurricanes and the Sixers the other night. We chatted a little bit about how you're thinking a few Perth Scorchers to start the season might be the tonic, especially on the emergencies bench. Tonight, we are going to get into the round 2 and 3 double game week players. So we got the Thunder, we've got the Brisbane Heat, and we've got the Melbourne Stars. And we're going to put them into context, mate, of your initial team build, how many you should be thinking about starting with, which ones are the ones to start with and which ones are the ones to wait on, which I think is something really, really important for round 1, because if you're going to be taking a punt on these guys in round 1, you want to make sure they're turning up for their doubles in round 2 and 3.
Yeah, no risky picks, no risky rolls. You're trying to get your most secure guys as possible, I think, if you're starting with them.
Yep. Someone springing to mind there is someone in my team at the moment. We shall get to him very shortly. Mate, got to give another plug to the Baller Prize League. You are in, as confirmed on the pod earlier in the week. You're in the running for 3K. There'll be no we ban in the NRL, we ban Jono and Tubes and stuff from winning the prize, but I'm officially unbanning you from winning the prize. You are 100% eligible. As a fresh contributor. There would be no way to treat our new contributor coming on the pod, mate. So everything to play for you, 3K.
The carrot's officially been dangled.
Just
I'm
like you
chomping at the
needed
bit.
any more motivation. Yep. So Baller 3K, please head to baller.live, follow the links. It couldn't be easier. It'll take you through, get in the league, and you will be eligible. You have to be signed up to baller.live. It takes about 10 seconds. Please make sure you go and do that. And I can announce that the tools, the BBL tools, the player stats, the player comparison, everything you need to go away and build your BBL team. We've broken down all the stats, economy bonus, economy strike rate, economy and strike rate bonus, I should say. It's a bit of a mouthful. Everything you're going to want to see there. We're going to have projections dropping very soon for the round 1 fixtures as well. So cannot wait for that to get started, Myth. I know you're excited about that as well.
I don't have to pave out an afternoon to just get into it, get into those tools, put the teams through it and see what it spits out.
Mate, best of all as well, all free of charge, of course. So get along. All you have to do is be signed up at ballr.live. It's going to be a wonderful season. Cannot wait to get everyone on board there. Make sure you're following us at Baller BBL across X, Facebook, Instagram, Baller Sports on TikTok and YouTube. We're dropping plenty of preseason content. Producer Gramsci's working very hard behind the scenes. And yeah, and also, Myth, I'm very excited while we've got everyone engaged at the start of the pod. We've got a seasonal debut next week for everyone's favourite, I'm going to say, Supercoach pundit, Tubes. It's going to be great to get Tubes on.
Finally get a clash with royalty.
I'd say the man, the myth, the legend, but we've already got the myth, so we'll just have to call him the man. But yeah, I can confidently say he's done no research. He's quite a good Supercoach player and BBL. He follows it pretty well, but he comes in pretty hot. And so we're gonna get him to throw us some questions next week that we know some of the listeners who might be tuning in just to get their season started with a week to go. And he will try and get his perspective on that.
I think that's the beauty of BBL. You can come in real hot and just take a few swings, and your player might do the same and miss it all and get bowled middle stump, or they might send it into the parking lot. You never know.
Absolutely. Mate, few big swings to take on, particularly Heat and Thunder players. So let's get stuck into them straight away. We're going to just run through this kind of positionally. You spoke on the pod very eloquently about the role of the wicketkeeper and, having those wicketkeepers, Josh Philippe, who you might be able to loop in some of these later rounds, and the value that you can do. And I should mention, come into the Discord. We're starting to really ramp that up. We're going to drop some exclusive content in there on the Discord as well. And Myth, you're in there. We got all the contributors in there. And please, because some of this stuff isn't straightforward. Like the Wicketkeeper loop stuff does need some explaining. So if you do have any questions, please jump in there, let us know, or ask us on socials. But yeah, it's an important aspect as we discuss Myth. So, any wicket keepers from these teams catching your eye to start the season, and you're thinking about starting with? You mentioned some of the Thunder guys potentially.
Yeah, I think that the appeal there is between the Heat and the Thunder on the round 2 double, you could just have a wicket keeper that plays 2 games, the first 3 rounds really easy by just starting with McDermott and then putting a Thunder guy on the bench. It makes it really easy. You don't worry about looping. You don't have to pick too many. You reevaluate come round 4 about what you actually want to do with your keepers. You get a Finn Allen on the double then and make it real easy. I think that's where a Thunder guy would be really, really useful. I'm just not a big fan of either.
No, me either. What about the Stars guys? We've got Joe Clark there who's coming back. It looks like his availability is quite good this year. That's been an issue for him in the past. I mean, I guess he could take off at any point. There might be a brand new He plays everywhere, Joe Clark. Like I saw him pop up in Canada the other day. So he could bob up and leave at any time. But I'm going to trust that his availability is pretty decent. And of course, everyone's favourite, Sammy Harper.
Yeah, I think the Stars are quite useful because of their buys as well. That round 4 buy allows them to be able to loop. They're easier to hold through that. Round 3 and 5 doubles is useful. And Joe Clark is a steal. Opening batsman. He's got the role. He's got the gloves, assuming Sam Harper's not on the side. And it's just such a good price. An easy stash.
I get the feeling Sam Harper's going to play. We've seen them play. We've seen Clark. I think Harper would keep in that world if they're both in the team. I'm sure Clark's even bowled an over or 2 at some point, but I would be shocked to see him bowling this season. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how the Stars line up. But yeah, you've really got my interest peaked, mate, with this. Either running the double wicketkeeper for the first 3 rounds, potentially 4 if you go with the Finn Allen as well from the Scorchies. Or that we can loop that those wicketkeepers on the bye. We know that Philippi has buys later in the year. The Stars have that buy in round 3. So the wicketkeeper loop being so valuable, or having the double game week, I think that I'm definitely going to get around one of these strategies.
Yeah, I think you've got to think about it and you work out your setup and then you go with it. I don't think there's a wrong way. I think we'll only know 5-6 rounds in what the best strategy was, whether it was to minimize your keepers and just have one on the double each week, or try and make advantage of that loop. I think it's going to depend if someone like a Finn Allen goes off round 1 or 2, because if you go for that loop strategy, he's probably likely to slot into your side.
Another guy who is sort of not really that well known to Aussie fans, he has played a little bit of Big Bash before, is Brisbane Heat keeper Tommy Allsop, who is 122k. It looks like he's going to get the nod over Pearson for the gloves.
They wouldn't have recruited him again to not play, surely. Have to have the gloves.
You'd think so. Where would you see him batting for the Heat?
I see him at 5. And I think that's probably why I haven't given him much consideration, especially
and Brian,
at the price.
Brian at 6?
Yeah, something like that. And they might have Renshaw, McSweeney, and I'm forgetting, and Munro in the top
Hearn
3.
Or Lockie Hearn at 4 is kind of like they're a little bit thin in that middle order, aren't they?
Yeah, it's that 6th batter. I think we know who 5 of them will be. We know it'll be Munro, Renshaw, McSweeney, Allsop, and Bryant. It's just that 6th one could be Pearson, could be Hearn, could be Weebgen. I have no idea.
Could be Usman Khawaja. That'd be
that would be a twist.
Yeah, the back comes good just in time for the Heat's round 1 or round 2 double, I should say.
I'll pick him on the condition that he comes up with an 8-iron instead of a cricket bat.
Oh, mate, I'd love to have a game of golf with Uzi. Uzi, I'm available anytime, mate, for a game of golf. Do you think that could Jimmy Pearson play as bat only? Not that he's really an option.
He could. I think, actually, now thinking about it and thinking back on Allsop, I don't think he was too good with the gloves. So if Pearson's in the side, he probably does take gloves because he's a good keeper.
And he's a bit of a watch on just his position, Pearson, as well, because he did open, I'm pretty sure, I mean, every single Big Bash season that's ever been in my mind is just all merged into one. So I couldn't tell you if he opened the batting last year or the year before, but he definitely went to opener in one of the
At
last
some
2
point.
years. At some point.
I think he's that perfect guy that talks about what we were talking about earlier, or fits what we were talking about earlier. We don't know what his role is going to be, so he's probably a good person to avoid, even if he is there round one.
Yep. Let's stick with the Heat batters, mate, because these are a couple of guys who are definitely going to be in the team and have got some good pedigree when it comes to Supercoach. Matty Renshaw and Colin Munro. Neither of these guys have currently made their way into my squad, even with that emergency. And that's because they've got that really tough start in Geelong, which is a really historically tough ground to get going on.
Yeah, there's been a minefield a few times in Geelong. Neither have even...
Sorry, they didn't even finish that. Was that last year? They didn't. Once again, no idea. This could be 5 years ago. They didn't even finish the game last year. They started, or the year before, where Jai Richardson was bowling.
Yeah,
and the pitch was too dangerous.
I'm pretty sure it was a Gades double game week too, so a lot of people got stiffed with that one. I think the biggest thing with the batters for me is I think Renshaw or McSweeney, one of them's going to bowl. I think one of them's going to just wrangle a few overs, but I have no idea which one it's going to be, and there's no way I'm going to want both on the double, so I'd rather wait and see who bowls.
So that's a big, hard avoid for round one. Get a look who might get a trundle,
and grab them.
Yeah, it's interesting because I would have, as someone who's just sort of coming into this again, I would have said Renshaw would definitely be the one who would bowl out of those two. He's obviously bowled a fair bit in Big Bash before, but McSweeney started to pick up a few overs here and there in some of the other leagues.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Renshaw is most likely, but I've been wrong about these things too many times to count, so I want to see it.
Well, and that's the thing. You get the free look with these Heat guys, and they're all none of them are massively expensive to start the year. Renshaw is 140, which is getting up there, but it's still not unattainable if he's getting, 2 or 3 overs and then, batting at 3.
Exactly. And none of them are value either. So you're not going to get like a 70K guy that all of a sudden round one is batting and bowling, that you've just got a leg up on the competition. So it's easy weight for me.
Yeah. The Thunder guys who are in a similar boat, Davey Warner, 150K, and Sammy Konstas, 101K. Doesn't look like much danger he's getting back on the test scene. He did show a fair bit of promise in last year's BBL. I'd struggle to start with either of them in my initial squad, just given their bat only. I'd want to make sure I could be looping them for round one. I wouldn't want them anywhere near my on field. And I also, like with Warner, I'd be worried about the depreciation in price if he doesn't get off to a flyer, because he's not going to be highly owned, so he's not really going to hurt you. And Konstas, I just couldn't be confident that we're going to see anything from. Not to say he can't do it, just I wouldn't be confident.
I think if I was going to take a punt on one of them, it'd probably be the young fella. I'd go Konstas. But I agree with you. Not on field. He would be absolutely on that bench loop. And I think he plays a little bit too late in the round to make that work, because if he doesn't come off, I think you're then very limited in terms of who you might have to put on field. It'd have to be a star, I think. So you'd have to loop Konstas into Curran or Maxwell or Stoinis or something like that, which seems just a bit too convoluted for round one.
You don't want to have to be getting that funky that quickly into the season. That's much more of a round 6, 7, or for our younger listeners, little one there. Mate, completely lost train of thought there, mate. Away from those guys, another bat only. I'm just chucking this guy out there because it looks like he's going to get a nice batting role at the Stars. He's never really done it before, but it's Campbell Kellaway. He's 58K. For me, he's just a big wait and see.
Yeah, I agreed. I think there's too much value to need to go these guys this year.
Yep. Especially guys like, because guys from these teams as well, you're buying them specifically because you want them for their double. So you have to, you can't get Callaway and go, oh, shit, I don't like what I see here, and get him out. You have to hold him through to the double. So that's just, you've basically wasted a score involvement. So it's a really dicey one, that. So yep, completely on board with that. Let's go now down to some bowlers and some combined bat bowlers as well. So I want to group a few of these guys together again. Guys, we spoke a little bit about and these three are all in my current build from the Brisbane Heat. Michael Neser, Xavier Bartlett, and Shaheen Afridi. Mate, I love Afridi. I think he's amazing bowler. 152K's toppy. I'm not saying it's not value, but it's a little bit like you got to make concessions to get him into your squad.
Yeah.
Bartlett, I love 128K. We've seen him wheel the willow. He's going to get the good overs in. Same with Neser. I'm just in the back of my mind. I'm just worried about Neser getting a test call up and just not making it to round 2 for one or both of the games.
I think. Well, they play. What is it? Their first game in round 1. They play on the Monday. That, from memory, is in the middle of the third test.
Yep.
Off the top of my head, and then the double happens by the 22nd of December. So that's 4 days before the Boxing Day test. You could say there's some risk there. I mean, if one of these bowlers goes down, let's say something happens to one of the guys, then there's a fair chance that maybe he does get pulled.
Yeah, for that game on the 23rd, for that game they play. So they play. Sorry, they play Monday the 22nd in Canberra. So, and the thing with those guys in the Oz team is they don't even need to be out. They just have to be carrying a niggle, and so they want to get. And Neser's just next man up.
I think a bit of it comes down to Hazelwood. If Hazelwood looks like he's going to be fit for that Boxing Day test, I think Neser's going to be far enough removed. But if Hazelwood's no good, then what are you going to have? You're going to have Cummins, Stark, Boland, Doggett, and then Neser's that next man up. I think if he's at 5 in that list, there's a fair chance, and there's at least some risk there. But at the same time, he's incredible value.
Yeah. He's 93,000. I think he's going to bat 7 by the looks.
Yeah, or 7 or 8.
7 or 8. Yeah, he's going to have the role. We know he likes to bowl up front and then come back usually gets a surge over. And then maybe one sort of, he doesn't generally bowl 20, I don't think, but he does he'll have sort of 18 or 19 potentially or around the mark there.
I'm really curious to see how they set it up because in theory there's 8, maybe 9 really good quality overs. The first 4 on the power play, the 2 surge, and then maybe the 2 to 4 last 4 overs. Let's say maybe in the middle 3, 9.
Yep.
Good overs there. Afridi's got 4, Bartlett's got 4, Neser's got 4. Who's getting the really good overs and who's going to be used more through the middle? You'd have to think Afridi is getting 4 of the best.
Well, you think he'd be 2 up front.
1 surge, 1 death.
And then 1 surge and 1 death. Bartlett generally would be more. Bartlett would probably be more like 1 up front. Bartlett, you have to think probably out of the first 4 overs, 2 to Afridi, 1 to Bartlett, 1 to Neser.
Yeah.
Surge, I think they'll go with Bartlett almost certainly for 1.
I agree.
And then I think Bartlett also gets 19 or 20.
I'm thinking similar. The difference, I wouldn't be surprised if Bartlett doesn't even bowl up front. I think he's great up front, but I wonder if they'll use Neser and Afridi just as the up front bowlers. But they've got some really good options there. And the other thing to this is what happens, are you going to take Wildermuth on top of those guys if he ends up having a really good role at 58K? Because he could be batting and bowling close to his 4 overs. That's could be a very good cheapie at 58K.
Just so much to play out with those last remaining 8 heat overs, isn't there? Like, I mean, Wildermuth has gone I've seen him go none for 50 off 3 multiple times, where it just doesn't work out for the poor bloke. I don't think there's a lot of trust there. In saying that, what else is there? Like Spencer Johnson not there. Like this would be a frightening attack if Johnson turns up halfway through the tournament. I don't know because they've got Callum Vidler injured as well. He's obviously the young up and comer who they've got a lot of hope for. But beyond that, their squad has no more sort of pace options. So you'd have to think Wildermuth is that guy. Yeah, I think if I was having a sort of an expected overs view, I'd be looking at Wildermuth. If Wildermuth's in the team, I think it's 2.5 overs. That'd be my line as to what he was, probably maybe flat 3. But I just don't really see him batting above Neser and Bartlett in these late over situations.
I think that's going to be the question, though, right? Is Wildermuth a dud pick where he's batting 9 and only bowling 2 overs, or is he batting 7 and bowling 4? Like, that is so huge, and I guess
we need eyes on that.
I don't know. I'm not starting with him. No chance I'm starting with Wildermuth. I need a look. But would it impact whether or not I start all 3 of Afridi, Neser, and Bartlett, knowing it's hard to then pick up Wildermuth because then you've got 4 heat bowlers. Are you getting a heat batter at all? If Renshaw in the options, you need Thunder as well. It'd be very hard to run all 4.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to go without, on top of this conversation, I think I'm going to go without Neser just on that test squad risk. I think let's just have a look because we'll know by game week for double game week 2 for them what chance he is of getting into that test squad. I think much better. The value component, like I fully understand, and I like watching who do they play game week? Who do they play round 1? I'm just talking like FPL here, game week 1.
Yeah. They're playing the Gades at Geelong, so there is some real appeal of having a heat bowler on field as one of your singles. Multiple. Yep.
Yeah, Jesus. No, but I think for me there, I think the Neser, if I can reconcile that, I think it's a punt worth taking because you do have to take a few of these punts. Nothing's locked in. Everything's got a level of risk. If you can reconcile the punt versus his price versus the Shaheen Afridi, if you can only go 2, Shaheen Shah Afridi at 152k, like that's 60k that you can, you could do a lot with. So I think that's what it's going to come down to for me between those 2.
I think as well, if you're playing someone on field versus if they're just on your bench without the E, like if you can have if it's Bartlett or Neser and it's on field, you kind of want to go with who you think is going to score the most. But if you're not going to have them on field because maybe your loop's gone off and you've got enough on field instead to get the emergency score,
yes,
you go safer and you try and have Bartlett as that guy ready to go, or you have a Thunder guy ready to go that's more secure.
Yeah, I can't really see myself not starting with Bartlett game week 1. I just think the role's so secure and he's like relatively decent value. He had a few poor games towards the end of last season, which means I'm sure at one point last year he was 200k or close to 200k. He started off like a house on fire because he had quite a down season the season before, so everyone was a bit cold on him. But he sort of tailed off towards the back end. But yeah, I can't really see with the role that I'm expecting him to have.
Out of every player in the whole Big Bash, Xavier, Big X, has just treated me wonderfully.
Yeah,
I've owned him when he's gone off. I haven't owned him when he's stunk it up. He's just been a good pal to me.
Yeah, so we're coming to you for the Bartlett review leading into game week 1, mate. I do want to say on Wildermuth that he's going to be, if he's turning up and listed sort of at 8 in the Heat team for round 1, he's going to be very popular because he's 58k. People are going to go, okay, Heat got the double game week 2. I'm going to be doing everything I can, though. He's going to be a last resort. If I can't afford anything else, okay, I'm going to take the punt on Wildermuth, but I'm really going to try to avoid that.
Yeah. It's actually a good sort of debate of him versus like a McAndrew from the Thunder at a similar price, who we'll probably get into the Thunder guys in a moment. But yeah, that role versus security almost in a way.
Let's transition across to the Thunder there now, mate, because I do have some more. No, actually, sorry. Let's just round out that Heat chat because I bought Wildermuth. We bought Wildermuth into that bowlers chat there. I was going to have a chat to him about Hugh Wybgen. We can cover him quickly. He's 58k. Just no guarantees he's going to be in the team. He's just irrelevant for now, I would have thought.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. Thunder bowlers only, and these guys are sort of some fringe guys. Nathan McAndrew, you just mentioned, he's very cheap. He had a few issues last year, didn't he? And he just never really came together for him.
No, he never really got in the side. But then from memory, he went bonkers in one of the finals games. I think he took like 4 or 5 wickets in one of the games from memory.
Yep.
and just blew it open. But that hasn't been factored into his pricing this year.
No. I'd be having to have a look at. I think I'd be going. It's just going to come down to lineup. I think like probably more than any other team we've spoken about in detail so far. The Thunder lineup is just a little bit up in the air. Would that be fair to say? Like, you got Tanvi Sanger, and obviously they've brought in Shadab Khan, who's obviously going to play. But like Tom Andrews is hanging around, who's had a really good couple of years for the Thunder, and he's very well suited to NG Stadium. I'm just not super confident in that lineup, even though I would think with Ferguson not turning up yet, that McAndrew probably does get that lower order sort of 9 or 10.
Yeah, and that's the thing with it. He might be there as purely a bowler and might not get the best overs. So it's hard to justify going with a pick like him when you've got other options at the Thunder with more security and offer a lot more.
I'm sure that I've read as well, could have been on Honeyball, could have been just popping up on my X feed, that they've rumoured to have signed Reece Topley as well.
Oh.
So that would be very interesting because he's got a little bit of and I'm sort of just so he's in the SAE T20, which is obviously later, so that'd be a more front loaded signing.
Replacement player for Lockie Ferguson.
Correct, until Lockie turns up. So left armour, he'd be someone who'd also be pretty interesting. I think he had a relatively poor spell with the Renegades, but he's obviously a pretty class bowler. He's played a fair bit of IPL.
I think he's come a long way since when he played for the Gades.
Yep. All right, who are we getting stuck into now? Let's just get back on let me find my file. The Tanvi Sanger. He's had moments, it's fair to say, in his both BBL and SuperCoach career. He's been in Aussie squads. I'm pretty sure he's played a couple of T20Is for Australia. He's 111k. It's a punt, but I don't mind it if we think that he's got that spot locked down.
No, I don't mind it either. He's a wicket taker. He will go hunting poles when he's on his spell, and he's a good spinner. But the problem with him, like a few of these spinners, is he doesn't really offer much outside of that. Doesn't bat, doesn't field in hot spots, so you're very much relying on wickets. He can get taken, he can be tonked, but he's a good guy to punt on. But is he a guy you just want just for that double and you're just hoping he goes off in one of those games? I wouldn't trust him on a single. He's
also relatively injury prone, which is not really probably fair, but he has had a lot of injuries. So yeah, I'd be waiting. It's not a round one pick for me by any stretch, because I do want to see if they're sort of keen. Like, you can get a bit of a read on some of these squads they announce, and then who's 12th man. And I think he's probably first pick ahead of Andrews, but I'm just going to wait and see on him. Someone who's certainly first picked is Chris Green, and I want to talk about him in the context of the other Thunder all-rounders. So we've got Dan Sams, bat bowl, Chris Green, bat bowl, Shadab Khan, bat bowl, all world-class players, and all up for debate to be in my starting 17 come game week 1, mate. What about you? Who's the pick that lot for you?
Probably the guy that's batting 6, I would say. Whoever's name is 6 on the team sheet, given the prices, is probably a guy that I'll look to start round 1, because just opportunity, right? I expect that to be Shadab Khan. I'm not sure who comes in after him out of Dan Sams and Chris Green. Not typically able to say it was Dan Sams, but we saw Chris Green elevated above him a couple of times last year. So what do they go with this year? I'm not too sure, but yeah, I like the all-rounder Shadab Khan.
Yeah, Ollie Davies probably keeps that role at 4. I would have thought. Are you pretty confident in that? Yep. And then Billings at 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then these guys come in at 6, 7, 8.
It's a bit meh for him, isn't it? Like, it's not, because we have seen Sam's float in the past. We've seen Shadab bat as high as 4 pretty consistently for Hobart in the past.
Yeah.
So it's very, very good middle order batting depth for the Thunder. And I'm sure that's where Trent Copeland, GM, his head was at when he was building this squad. But Supercoach prospects, I don't love that role for Shadab that much, just and especially when he's probably not going to bowl. He's not guaranteed his 4 overs, I wouldn't have thought. I would much prefer him at 4 or 5, particularly 4. But 6 is concerning for me. Whereas someone like Sam's, as long as he's not 8, I'm a bit like I'd trust him to come. I trust him to float a bit more in the order as well.
Yeah, I think there's a fair argument there. My argument with Shadab is, and I think actually all of the Thunder bowlers, is any of them actually guaranteed 4?
Probably not.
I
They all
don't think
bowl.
so.
No.
They're going to have 6 decent bowlers. They're not going to have any that I would say are locks that if Sam's gets tonked in his first 2 overs, he's no guarantee to bowl out.
No.
Like, you compare that to someone like maybe the Perth Scorchers of past or the Heat, even with like Afridi now. If he gets tonked his first 2, he's still going to bowl out.
Yeah.
But I think any of these Thunder guys can have their day where they miss out. Or
Green not. Green's a lock for 4, I would have thought.
I would say he's the most likely.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I'm talking
even
absolutes here, but yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The most likely. Yes.
Most likely. Even I've seen him bowl 3 overs his fair share. So maybe that was when he was captain and his decisions were a little bit different there.
I think so, yeah.
I think most likely to bowl 4 of the lot. And if he's batting 7, is he the guy to start with out of these 3, or are you starting with multiple of them?
Potentially. Again, it's sort of it's really interesting because Thunder, you have to start with some Thunder, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, I think so too. I've currently got 3, but this has got me reevaluating a little bit, and it's probably going to come down to if I can get around any of these Perth guys, and maybe some stars. But yeah, I really want to see how that middle order shakes out. But the tricky bit is it can change on a dime, can't it?
Oh, it can change very quickly. And I think there's actually a fair chance if you're picking 3 Thunder, you're going to have to pick who's on field and who's just sitting on the bench. If you have 9 or 10 doubles, there's 9 or 10 of your 12 spots already.
Yeah.
You've got a Heat bowler, potentially emergency, potentially on field. There's a fair chance you have to be picking one of these guys. You might start with both Chris Green and Daniel Sams, but one's on field and one's off field, and that's going to be a nightmare coin toss.
Yeah. In terms of if they were all in the exact, like I know this is complete hypothetical, but it just say they were all getting their 4 overs and all batting at 6. Who would be your who do you think the best SuperCoach option, pure SuperCoach option in the right role is there?
If we're comparing them doing that, Dan Sams, simply because his 4 overs are going to be at better times.
Yep. And probably he's got the most batting upside as well, like from a strike rate perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shadab's probably the best batter.
Yeah. But Shadab's probably more likely to hit 30 off 24. Dan Sams is more likely to hit 20 off 10.
Yep. Mate, one, just to round out this Thunder chat, one I just wanted to get your thoughts on who I should have put in with the bat onlys, but Ollie Davies, who we just mentioned, he's probably let Supercoaches down more than any other player over the last couple of years. In saying that, could get suckered in again.
I won't be getting suckered in. I'm not sure if I've owned him.
I've taken a flyer on him in a double. I've definitely taken a flyer on him in a double, but yeah, it's never really worked out.
No. I think I had him when he bowled once. Don't think he did anything.
That's right. Yeah, he's definitely bowled. Yeah, I don't think he'll be doing much bowling this year.
No. Doubt it.
Very good. He does have some good content on the mic. They love giving him the mic. They love it.
So does Billings, actually.
Yeah.
Good
They
value on the mic.
split the shifts there. Like you're not getting a lot of and Warner now as well on Fox.
Yeah.
I mean, please give me anyone but Warner. But yeah,
yes. He's on Fox. I watch 7.
Yeah. It's hard to change my KO habits, but we'll see. Mate, let's get across now to the Melbourne Stars because they've got the double in important team. They've got the double in game week 3 and then the bye in 4 and then another double in, is it 5? Do they go double by double? Yep.
They do.
So they're going to be a critical team. We spoke about the wicketkeeper stuff earlier. But really the place we have to start here is with the bat bowl guys, because I think that you probably want to be starting with one of these three, and it's going to depend a little bit on the cash you've got available. But Glenn Maxwell, Marcus Stoinis, and Tom Curran. Now, Maxwell is the best out of these guys. He starts at 201K, one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive. I think maybe short's a little bit more. He's massively owned, 38.4% owned. Marcus Stoinis, you made mention to me that they play round 2 at Adelaide Oval, where Stoinis just always destroys. I want to touch on him because his bowling is going to be very important. And then Tommy Curran, who has been a SuperCoach stud historically, had a little bit of a down year last year. He comes in 106K, but should be locked into his 4 overs. Mate, I'm going to let you have the choice of who to start with there.
Oh, it's a nightmare. I think if I'm picking one, I'm either trying to pay up for Maxwell. One thing, I actually had a bit of a look into him. He only bowled 7 overs, I think it was last year. So you can look at that 2 ways. One, he's bloody underpriced because basically bowling hasn't been factored in, and that's just pure batting and fielding. He took a hell of a lot of catches last year.
Yeah.
The other way to look at it is...
Which is not unusual either.
No, we expect him to, especially without the captaincy. He's going to field in the hot spot because he's the best fielder, if not in the Stars, maybe even the whole competition.
Yep.
The other way of looking at it is first year under Stoinis' captaincy and he barely bowls. Do we see a repeat of that? Is that his role moving forward? I think they ran 2 spinners a couple of times last year with Mackenzie and Osama Mir. What happens this year? I'm not sure. It's going to be scary if he bowls 4 that first game and you don't have him.
Mate, they've signed Swepson to bowl spin. He's been a relatively reliable sort of BBL commodity with his overs historically. I wouldn't say he's set the world alight, but he's done a job for the Heat. So you'd have to think they've signed him. They're going to want him to come in and do a job. I think Maxwell and Stoinis are both struggling for regular overs. It'll be chip in. It'll be chop out stuff, won't it? Like you're looking like at a Curran, Steckity, Swepson, Rauf, and Siddle. Siddle will be interesting if he's 41. Surely he just can't be showing up in every game. That's really where I think Stoinis will pick up some decent overs.
Yeah, and I can see games where maybe Steckity gets a bit of tap, or maybe Swepson gets hit around the ground a little bit and could lose overs there. But you'd expect Tom Curran, Harris Rauf to bowl there for week in, week out. See other guys where they might pick up overs. It's hard to pick Stoinis and Maxwell if they're the 6th and 7th bowling options.
Yeah, it's certainly for round 1. Like it's just at that price. Like the issue is if you don't get them in round 1, you're not bringing them in round 2. I wouldn't have thought.
No,
not even Stoinis at Adelaide.
As tempting as it would be, it's still probably going to avoid. For me, I like Tom Curran is probably the safest one given the price. Given the role, he's going to bat 7, you'd think. He's going to bowl his 4. He's going to get good overs. You'd think him and Rauf are going to bowl at the death and in the surge. So if you're going to start one, he's probably the guy, right?
Yeah, he's currently in my team. Purely, I mean, I think he's a great option. He certainly hasn't shown for the Stars what he showed for the Sixers a few years ago. But I think we got to back him to get back to that form. It's really the turning point was really where was that when he ran into he threatened the umpire?
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
Is he gonna what to expect from him this time around? Who knows? But I mean, he does have the role.
Yep. No, the role. He looks like he'll bat 7. He'll get the 4 overs. He'll get the good overs. So yeah, he's currently in my side. Yeah, I'm gonna scary. We've spoken about this at length already, but it's scary not to own Maxi particularly. And like you said, if he comes out and gets 4 overs, what do you do round 2 before the bye? Like you're basically sacrificing unless you boost, you're sacrificing that extra score involvement in round 2. But these are I've to be honest, it's not going to be good. I'm going to be watching and I'm going to be scared. But I feel like at the ownership, it's a pretty good take on with what you can do with the rest of your squad with that Maxwell money.
I think you're essentially going to use a double to take him on, and you're probably going to use a good quality double because I think if you're picking Maxwell, it means you're kind of sacrificing one of these better double game week guys. Maybe you're sacrificing a Nathan Ellis, maybe you're sacrificing a Ben Dwarshuis, or maybe you're sacrificing a Shaheen Afridi in round 2.
Yep.
Something has to give if you've got Maxwell.
I would also call out with Maxi, you're going to have to make a plan in round 2 to how you're going to get Maxi. Because he's going to be sort of circa 180 to 220K, which is not easy to buy with only 2 trades. I'm half plotting a boost in round 3 to make sure that I can get Maxi. But yeah, you're probably going to be looking at trying to get a 6er out, I would have thought, at that point, or potentially. Oh, no, probably.
Heat or Thunder.
Heat or Thunder, yeah. Heat or Thunder. Yes, correct.
So you might hope that a Shaheen Afridi goes big, Maxwell goes down, and maybe it's only a 20K grabs them. But if it goes sideways, you're right. If Maxwell goes up to 220, and maybe some of these 150 guys you start with the Babra Azam and he goes down 10, Afridi goes down 10. There's not many other guys you're going to be selling above 150. All the guys you're looking to sell around that 120, 130 mark, and that's going to make it nearly impossible to get Maxi unless you're pairing Maxi with a Swepson type or a Joe Clark type at that lower price.
Very interesting indeed. Mate, couple of other, who else we got from the one we missed, the 2 I wanted to talk about from the bowl only brigade. We'll throw in Pete Siddle. Harris Rauf returns to the Stars. He's done a great job for them in the past. And Swepson, who we mentioned as well. Any of those bowl-only guys, I would doubt they're on your radar for round 1, but are you looking at any of them with a keen eye for round 3?
Rauf for round 3. Just because of the wicket taking ability. He's a guy that you could see just pulling a fifer out of nowhere and really dominating and being the key player of a double. Otherwise, I know some people are interested in Swepson. Producer Gramsci's made a very good point that he's very suited to MCG, long square boundaries.
Yep.
However, he just relies on wickets. He's not really that economical. Isn't known for his fielding or his batting. When you're just relying on someone bowling spin in the not key overs, I just have my doubts.
The Stars play the Sixers at the SCG and the Thunder at Manuka for that round 3 double. So both good batting decks. Yeah, I don't know. Swepson's never been one of mine for Big Bash purposes. I'm with you. I'll be looking at Rauf and just making sure he's getting those good overs. And hopefully he's coming in at a relatively nice price as well.
The hard part's going to be if you don't start with any of those 3 all-rounders you mentioned. It's going to be very hard to get all 4 of Maxi, Rauf, Curran, and Stoinis all in on their double. So, got to factor that in for your starting team.
Even go a step further. It's going to be, even if you start with Curran, it's going to be hard to get Stoinis, Maxwell, and Rauf.
Yeah, at the prices.
I think we have to. How much is Rauf's 152K? Yeah, so that's 3 guys that are at 150 plus likely. You're just not going to be able to. I don't think you're going to be able to afford all 3.
I think the only way it happens is if price changes very much go your way. They all start with stinkers, and then your Sixers and Thunder Heat guys just make a monster.
That's a conundrum. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with how this has ended in terms of how I've got to think about the Stars. There's going to be a few. I could just see Marcus Stoinis haunting my dreams.
Wait until we bring in the Scorchers conundrum as well.
Mate, I reckon we're out of time. I reckon we're going to get into your Scorchies next week. As Tubes comes on, we can give him the 9-9 on the Scorchies. But mate, it's been a ripper. This has probably been my favourite pod so far to get into preseason. Really looking forward to the Test match. It's kicked off. I think it might have already kicked off by the time this comes out. It could be today or yesterday. But I hope you're enjoying it. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the last week of Big Bash next week, because it's just going to really start ramping up, and the place to get all the information and ask all the questions is going to be right here on the Baller Big Bash pod and in the Discord, mate. I know you'll be in there.
I'll live in there.
Quite literally.
Yep.
Mate, enjoy your weekend, and
Let's go, these Aussies.
your beauty.